Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm MrTieDye. So I've been getting lots of requests for letters, so I'm just kind of slowly working my way through. I've done a few letters, but we're going to do some of the more complicated ones here coming up. I've already done the L-O-V-E for love. I made those on a tank top. I've also shown the letter O done a different way. I folded it up. That one's up. This t-shirt here is going to be a Q. So what I'm going to do is do a folded or raised pleat on folding this Q up. So basically you would just want to draw your design on there. And this is one that you want to make sure that you have your t-shirt right side out. Normally I work on the inside of the t-shirt, but if you do that, then you have to make sure you flip the letter backwards. So just to avoid that, I'm working on the front of the t-shirts. And what I'm going to do now is put a clip. I'm pulling up just the front. I'm not going to fold this on the back of the t-shirt. So I'm going to fold these lines up. Pull these lines up, and I'm going to put a clip on there just to help hold those up in place. And then I'm going to go around the whole circle and do the same thing. Now you don't have to do this. I just find that it's easier for me as I am working if those are all pulled up. So basically I'm just pulling them up away from the back of the shirt here so that I can fold just the front. And there's probably lots of other methods of folding letters. This is just how I happen to do it. So I'm just going to slowly work my way through the alphabet. I don't know if I'll get to all of the letters, but I'll at least try to get to all of the more complicated letters. Okay. So with a raised pleat, what you're going to do, instead of laying it down and folding up like this here, you're going to hold it in your hand. So I'm just going to take this pleat and try to keep these lines that I've drawn up on the top portion here as I start folding these up. And anything that you don't want in there, so at the end of this line I folded this pleat down, because when I tie this off, I'm going to tie up at the top portion of this and wrap it all up and then be able to dye that. Okay, so now this here is where it gets tricky. We have two lines that cross. So what I'm doing is just raising both of these up, and you just kind of got to fold a little bit of a corner in there, so that this top portion is raised up, and then you go over to the other side, do that same thing. So I'm just pulling the line up and laying it right next to the rest of them, making sure that the rest of that's not in the line is pulled down. I hope that's making sense. So and then we got one more place where it crossed. So I'm going to do that same thing, just kind of pull that line up and fold it right over along there. So now I just slowly start removing the clips as I go. And you just have to keep adjusting the t-shirt. The main thing is you just want to keep all of those lines that you drew up on top as you fold this up. It's just going to fold into a big wad up here, and that's what you're going to tie up. And everything else that you don't want, you want to make sure it's tucked down inside. So like when I get to the end of this part here, I'm going to fold over and tuck it down. Okay, so that's where this one here now, I'm not going to fold anymore in it, so I'm tucking it down while keeping these other two up. I hope that's making sense to you guys. I just keep pulling those clips off as I keep working my way around the Q. So I'm just doing big folds. It's probably a little bit more than an inch long here, or wide. And you can fold that as big as you need to. If you fold this too skinny, then when you try to tie it, you're possibly going to buckle everything. So I just keep folding that right up and just making sure that everything else is tucked down inside. Everything except for the top part of these creases. And if it gets too big, you can even just wrap this around. So what I'm going to do is just kind of wrap this up. So I'm just twisting it and wrapping right around my folds there. I'm going to wrap all the way around. That also helps keep everything contained. And then I'm going to fold back on it. Like I say, this here is just a matter of folding everything so you can kind of get it held in place to tie off. So it's just a matter of continuing. Like I say, the how you fold it up in here doesn't matter. The main thing is the level that you're folding. So all of the lines you drew are up at the top and everything else is tucked down inside here. Once you get to the end with all your clips off, then it's just a matter of folding that last bit up, and sometimes you can even just take that and wrap it around. So let me show you what I have here. Like I say, it's all kind of, some of it is folded up inside, some of it is wrapped around, but basically all of my creases that have lines on it, they're all folded up at the top. Everything else is tucked down inside. So now I'm going to tie this off the top, maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch up here at the top. That's what I'm tying off. Because that's where we're going to put our die at. So, and I'm even going to use sinew for this. You probably could get away with kite string or rubber bands, but I just want to make sure that this here is extra tight on here. Okay, let me cut that off of there. I tie my little knot in the end to make unraveling it easier. And now the rest of the t-shirt, I'm just going to scrunch it up. But as you can see, all of my lines that I drew, they're all folded up here at the top part. This here is where I'm going to put my color at, just in this top part here, for the Q, and then the rest of it I'm going to dye in other colors. I think I'm going with blue, green, and purple on this. So the rest of the T just gets folded up. I'm going to go ahead and tuck the 2 sleeves inside themselves just to help the shirt lay a little bit flatter. But you can kind of scrunch this up however you like once you get it all tied up. QT is ready to go. You could let this dry if you want, but I did a test run on this before and I had pretty good luck with dyeing it up while it was still damp. So I'm going to get some gloves and we're going to splash some color on this right now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is dye the Q part with green. So I'm just going to dye everything on this side of my sinew line and just let that dye soak down in. Then we're going to dye around it with some purple. This here is plum, the other was emerald green, and the last color is sapphire blue. All three are from Dharma. I'm just kind of squeezing that just to make sure that I get good saturation in there. And I'm tipping this away from the tea so that any of the excess dye drips out rather than soaks further in, because I don't want this green dye up there in the purple. So, and then the next thing I'm going to do is squeeze the purple one. This one I'm going to hold it a little bit more level, but I will let some of it drip down this way because I don't want to squeeze the purple up. So since this here is just a big thick wad, I just want to make sure that I get good saturation, and sometimes that pressure in there will help it. And then from here I'm going to let this batch for 48 hours and then we'll wash it and have the results for you. You'll see that in about 2 seconds. Thank you for watching. Okay, the queue has been patiently waiting for 48 hours. So now it's time to open this thing up and see how we did. Alrighty, looking good. Alright. There is the cube. I did it just on the front. So thank you for watching.